Um, Good evening, everybody. I'm Darcy Friedman. I'm the director of the Marianne Swetland Center for Environmental Health at Case Western Reserve University and the co-lead of the Nourishing Neighborhoods Empowering Community Study, affectionately called the Nourishing Power Study by our team. Thank you for joining us this evening for our informational session focused on the Nourishing Power Fellowship. We are recording our session today, and we'll be posting the recording to our website, and we'll send an announcement next week letting you know when the recording is available on our website. I'm pleased to be joined today by my partner, Tanisha Velez from the FAIR Project, and Lena Boswell, Executive Director of Nguzo Saba Gardens, and Chef Kelly Etheridge, who is a local nutrition educator and chef. Lena and Kelly are graduates of our 2021 fellowship program. You'll hear more about them later in the session. Brooke Hale is the program manager for the Nourishing Power Study, and she's here providing support throughout the presentation. Feel free to type in the chat your name and organization or affiliation so we can get a better sense of who is joining us this evening. Next slide. So our aim over the next 30 minutes is to clarify the goals and application process for the Nourishing Power Fellowship. We will begin by reviewing what is the Nourishing Power Network, and then we'll go into the details of the fellowship, including who it's for, what are the benefits, the schedule of events, and application process. You'll then get a chance to hear from Lena and Kelly as they reflect on their fellowship experiences last year. And we'll end by opening the floor for discussion. Our presentation should go until about 6:30, and then our team will be staying online until 7 p.m. for anyone who has lingering questions. Next slide. So the Nourishing Power Network has a bold vision to root and grow a local food system that promotes freedom, hope, and dignity traditions, resulting in holistic health and health of body, mind, and spirit for Black, Latino, Latina, Latinx, Asian, and Indigenous communities. When we say food system, we're talking about all of the steps involved in getting the food that you want in order to thrive. As you can see in these pictures, the foods actions related to growing, distributing, selling, sharing, preparing, and eating food. The Nourishing Power Network is part of a community action-oriented research project. Our mission is to test ways to transform food systems by bridging community power with organizational power to spark and expand food justice initiatives led by the community. Over the next 3 years, we hope to learn together through the network. And here are the things that we hope to learn. One, if we cultivate welcoming spaces for community building, will it spark and expand food justice in Greater Cleveland? 2, if we support community-led action with financial and technical resources, will it tip the food system to fairness? And 3, if we root and grow community ownership of local food systems, will it promote equity, vibrancy, and holistic health? This network will provide scaffolding for addressing long-standing challenges like food insecurity and unfair access to food stores in our neighborhoods with outside-of-the-box and collaborative approaches. But the real work and impact of the network will be shaped in collaboration with you and others committed to making a local food system that works for all. Just to be clear, we are forming the network as we go, and we can't wait to engage others in this process. There are 4 ways to engage with the network based on your interests, experiences, and capacity. And I'm going to review these in a counterclockwise on the slide here. So first, the Nourishing Power Advisory Council will provide leadership to the network overall, and we'll be announcing those selected to serve on the Advisory Council later this month at our August 31st networking event. Second, the Nutrition Equity Fund, which will launch in spring of 2023, it will provide grant funding for collaborative and creative food justice projects led by the community. Third, we will host quarterly networking events to bring together local food justice leaders, share stories and talent, grow capacity, and trusting relationships. Our first networking event will take place August 31st at the Riddall Green Partnership. And we'll put a link in the chat to sign up for this event. And then the fourth part of the network is our Nourishing Power Fellowship. And tonight you're going to hear a lot more about the fellowship. So lastly, I'd like to highlight the code of the Nourishing Power Network. This is a partnership between the Sweatland Center at Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine, Neighborhood Connections, and the FAIR Project. Tom O'Brien from Neighborhood Connections and Morgan Taggart from the FAIR Project are co-leads of this study. You can scan the barcode if you want to learn more about the initiative, and a link will be placed in the chat to access our project website. Now I'd like to turn it over to Tanisha, who will share more about the Nourishing Power Fellowship.
Thanks, Darcy. Let's dive into more of the details of the Nourishing Power Fellowship. Today's a big day. We officially launched the Nourishing Power Fellowship. Some of you may have had a chance to see our flyer about the fellowship on social media, through email, or other medias. This flyer gives you a high-level summary about this exciting new opportunity. Feel free to put a note in the chat if you would like to help spread the word about the fellowship by sharing this flyer with your network. Our information sheet shares even more information about the fellowship opportunity. Tonight, Darcy and I will be tag teaming as we walk through this information sheet. As you can see here, the 2022-23 fellowship is focused on engaging people who want to grow their vision to spark and expand food justice for children and families. Through the fellowship, people will have an opportunity to grow their vision for food justice, create a plan of action, expand their leadership capacity, and grow a network of supporters. There is not a single feature that makes someone a good fit for the fellowship. If you answer yes to these questions, then the fellowship might be right for you. And the questions are, do you have experience with WIC or SNAP, food pantry, farmers market, gardening or farming, nutrition education, cooking classes, school meals, or trying to get better food in your neighborhood? Are you passionate about making our local food system work for children and families? Are you committed to moving your idea or vision for food justice into a plan of action in Cleveland, East Cleveland, Euclid, Cleveland Heights, or Garfield Heights? Do you want to learn with others to spark and expand food justice for children and families? Have you worked to expand freedom, hope, and dignity in food traditions within Black, Latino, Latina, Latinx, Asian, or Indigenous communities? And just a note, fellows must be 18 years or older, and up to 10 people will be selected for the 2022-23 fellowship. And then we will also recruit a new group to join the program next summer. The Nourishing Power Network is focused on communities unfairly burdened by food system problems. In the first year of the research project, the fellowship would engage people from 5 cities in Cuyahoga County that have some of the highest rate of food insecurities. These include East Cleveland, Cleveland, Euclid, Garfield Heights, and Cleveland Heights. We will be adding 4 additional cities in the following year: Warrensville Heights, Maple Heights, Richmond Heights, and Bedford Heights. Additionally, there are some priority groups for the fellowship, including people who identify as Black, Latino, Latina, Latinx, Asian, or Indigenous, and people committed to making the food system work better for children and families. There are several benefits to taking part in the fellowship. First, all fellows will receive a $1,500 stipend for their time in the fellowship. This will be paid over 5 months at the rate of $300 per month. Second, they will receive coaching from trainers and mentors and feedback as you move your vision into community action. Third, fellows will have many opportunities to network with potential partners, including other fellows. Fourth, the fellowship is focused on skill building to turn your ideas into action for food justice. Lastly, the experience will end with a graduation ceremony. So what it's like to be a fellow? You can expect to spend about 10 hours per month moving your vision into a plan for action by engaging in several activities. There will be 9 workshops that provide a space for more in-depth coaching and support to build out your vision for food justice for children and families. These will take place on select Wednesday evenings from 5 to 7:30 p.m. We'll go over the schedule next. You will be assigned one mentor who will meet with you 1 to 2 times per month from March to July 2023 for a total of 6 mentoring sessions. You'll have a chance to meet several people and request a mentor that best fits your needs and interests. You'll also have a chance to connect with a wider network of food justice leaders at the quarterly networking events offered by the Nourishing Power Network. You'll have a chance to speak at one or more of these events to get feedback on your vision for food justice. Because this is a research project, you'll also take part in interviews that will help us evaluate the fellowship. You will be paid additional compensation for taking part in the interviews. Lastly, you'll have a chance to showcase your vision and share your plans for action at the fellowship graduation ceremony planned for May 10th from 5 to 7:30 p.m. You can invite friends and families to this event designed to celebrate the amazing work of the fellows. I'm going to now turn it over to Darcy, who will review some of the logistics of the fellowship. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanisha, for this overview. Let's now look at some of the key dates related to the 2022 application process. As you can see on the left side of your screen, today is a big day. Our application went live today, August 15th, and today we're having our info session. A recording of the session will be posted on our website later this week, and we'll share that out next week. We're hosting 2 office hours for those interested in the application process. One is on August 22nd from 6 to 7 p.m. and the other on September 6th from 12 to 1 p.m. These are optional, they're on Zoom, and in a minute we'll put some links in the chat so you can sign up to attend one of those sessions if you're interested. Applications are due September 30th at 11:59 p.m. And then those who are selected to participate in an interview will have 30-minute interviews. Those will be going on from October 17 to 28. And then we'll be letting folks know if they were selected in the fellowship by November the 14th. On the right side of the slide, you can see the schedule for our 2022-23 cohort. Our first fellowship session will begin on December the 14th. And as you already heard, we'll have a graduation ceremony on May 10th. You will have a mentor for 3 months after the fellowship ends through the end of July of 2023. And you can see the dates here for our workshops. They're about twice a month, starting in December on Wednesday evenings from 5 to 7:30 p.m. 4 of the sessions will be Zoom-based, and the remaining 5 will be in person with dinner provided. The application is an online application, and here I want to just briefly review some of the questions that you'll be asked to answer in applying. One is, what motivates you to join the Nourishing Power Fellowship? 2, the Nourishing Power Fellowship is for people who want to create a food system that works for all. Briefly tell us about your vision or idea for expanding food justice for children and families. This will help us learn more about the vision or idea you would like to further develop through the Nourishing Power Fellowship. 3, What lived, volunteer, and or work-related experiences do you have using or helping others use food programs or gain access to healthier foods? Examples of food programs for children and family include WIC or SNAP, food pantries, farmers markets, produce perks, community or school gardens, urban farms, nutrition education and cooking classes, school or summer meal programs, grocery stores or food co-ops, etc. 4, the Nourishing Power Fellowship builds on the idea that change is powerful when it is collaborative. How will learning from and working with others in the fellowship help move your vision or idea into action? And 5, how are you connected to the local community or stakeholders in at least one of the 5 cities that are a focus of the Nourishing Power Fellowship? Again, that's Cleveland, East Cleveland, Garfield Heights, Euclid, and Cleveland Heights. How will these connections help you develop your vision for food justice? I just want to briefly review a few tips for applying online. I do encourage you to review our information sheet to learn more about the fellowship. And again, we've gone over that today. You can download that from our website. It's also helpful to type out your responses to those questions prior to your application, so you can just copy and paste and put it in the online application. Make sure you have good internet connectivity when applying, because it is a web-based application. And then if you have any questions as you're working on your application, feel free to attend one of our office hours, again on August 22nd and September 6th. And if you're not able to join those, we can find a time to meet with you separately for the office hours. So it's now time to hear from 2 of the graduates of our 2021 fellowship. I'm thrilled to introduce you to 2 change makers committed to activating food justice. We have Miss Lena Boswell, Executive Director of Nguzo Saba Gardens, and her fellowship project last year was titled Soil to Soul Food Web. And Chef Kelly Etheridge, who's a nutrition educator and chef with the Greater Cleveland Food Bank and Cleveland After School All-Stars. And her fellowship project was focused on cooking with Chef Kelly. And I just want to briefly share with you the slides or the one-pagers that Kelly and Lena created. And just so you can get a little sense of the products that you'll be able to develop through your experience in the fellowship. So you can see here's Lena's, and you can go to the next one for Kelly. And with that, we're going to go ahead and pull down our slides, and Tanisha and I are going to be asking our special guests, Lena and Kelly, to give us some feedback about their experience. And I see it looks like we have Kelly, and I feels like we may have lost both of our speakers. There's Lena up there, and there's Kelly.
I'm here.
Hi there. So getting started, maybe go ahead if you want to introduce yourself and tell the group, why did you join the fellowship last year?
All right, Lena, I'll go first. My name is Chef Kelly, and I found out about the fellowship through a good friend who her kid was attending the music settlement. And at music settlement, I used to go into the classrooms and work with the kids about cooking, making little small things, and just doing stuff with food. And with that being said, I also would make soup in the fall for the kids. And all parents would be like, how do you get my kids to eat this soup? They won't eat this stuff at home. And I'm like, well, you got to get them involved. You have to tell them the process. They get to pick some things, add some things, help make it, and then they're excited about eating it. So with that being said, she told me all about the fellowship. She was really excited. I was a little hesitant. I'm like, oh, I got a lot of stuff on my plate right now. I don't think I want to add to it. but it sounded very, very interesting. It was a place where I felt like I could get my vision into action. And so I decided to apply for the fellowship, and I was accepted, and I was like, oh my God, now what have I got myself into? But I must say that everybody was very, very, very supportive and helpful. I mean, if I felt like I was falling behind or didn't have the answer, all I had to do was email someone and they was there for me. Brooke was great. Sheena, all the supporters, they was very great. They was always there for us any time of the day. I promise you, I felt like, oh, I can't call this person at this time. But I would email them and she would respond immediately like, oh, it's okay. Let's do this like this. Let's fix this. Or you can add this. That will make it better. But the experience was awesome. The networking and the connections that I made was amazing. And I must say, through the fellowship, that's how I ended up working with the Greater Cleveland Food Bank, the actual All Stars. I started working with them. Greater Cleveland Food Bank, I go to the food pantries and I do food demos and talk about food nutrition to senior citizens, like the food pantries, different places like that. And with the Cleveland All Stars, I get to go, which is my passion, I get to go into the schools and educate the kids on different types of, I mean, simple things. You could just talk about the 5 food groups or reading your ingredients, know what you're putting in your body. We talk about growing gardens and things like that. But the most important thing to me is I get to do what I enjoy doing, trying to be a person that's helping the food system and equity. And so I think the fellowship for opening up those doors and broadening those doors for me, that I was able to step out and do a lot more. And I'm not done yet because I'm working for everybody else still, but now I have to finalize my vision. So I'm still working on my vision, but doing a lot of other work.
Thank you, Chef.
So with that, and I'm going to send it off to Lena, my partner.
Thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for this invitation. Let me first
I can't hear you,
offer.
Lena. Are you talking?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I think I can at least.
Okay. Kelly, you can't hear me? Okay. If anybody that knows me knows that I have to first offer my thanks and appreciation and my gratitude to the ancestors on whose shoulders I stand. You know, they were the predecessors to all of this work that I do. And I always like to give them honor and praise for holding me up and being my confidants and support in this work, you know, which is very, very important and very, very critical to our communities. So thank you for inviting me, Darcy. How did I come to get into the fellowship? Well, beforehand, I believe that I had attended a number of community type group things where we got together to talk about the food system and, you know, talk about what we would like to see. And then this opportunity came up and I was quite curious. I'm going to say that I was quite curious because I come from a quite different part of the ecosystem. You know, my work is more grassroots and hands-on and at a very much soil level, a dirt level. And I say soil very passionately and with reverence. And so the juxtaposition of the advocacy that I do and the research from Sweatland is kind of two different beings of the same ecosystem. So I was quite curious about what a partnership or what a collaboration could be about. So I joined and found out that it was very rewarding for me. I learned a lot about research. And as I said, it's quite different than the work that I do in terms of the advocacy. But I was also able to lend my voice, which is what I'm going to urge any fellows who are listening to this broadcast afterwards. You know, make sure that your voice is heard and make sure that your voice is put out there. Because if you read a lot of the last publication that we collaborated on, that is now a published paper, you know, a lot of the language that is in that paper came from our group. It came from our conversations. It came from our work with others in the food community, advocating for food justice and food sovereignty in our communities. So a lot of those terms like agency and that came from us. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that you must be diligent in making sure that your words and your narrative is going to be put at the forefront of these conversations. So thank you again. That's kind of all I have to submit about the relationship. It was very, very informative and a very good match.
Thank you. Do you want to maybe share one thing that you think others, what is one thing you want others to know about the fellowship experience? Maybe something that they might, you know, if they're on the fence, if it's the right fit or what the opportunity could be?
Well, I would say just briefly, just go for it. You know, we were the test group. You know, I'm not going to say test dummies because there wasn't a dummy in the group, not one. So we were the test group. We were the incubator for the fellowship. And, you know, of course, there were some challenges that came about, but overall, the experience, I think, was very good. So I would say get into it if you feel that that's, you know, where you want to go, and learn about the research community and, you know, how their work can support yours. Because that's an important mixture, the research community and the advocacy group, you know, on the ground and grassroots. You know, you will learn that research is very, very lucrative. You know, you get plenty of dollars for research, but us out here in the streets of advocacy and grassroots, you know, a lot of times we have to do this work with very to little money. So perhaps the next cohort, the next fellowship can get in there to really advocate for more dollars for grassroots projects, because at the end of the day, okay, so we have a published paper that sits on the shelf. How does that impact the community? So that's the question you want to ask the group. Should you become a fellow, how is this going to impact my community? What are the community benefits that are going to come from this that will help my community to change? Because at the end of the day, there must be some type of change. It just can't be, oh, we have a peer-reviewed paper that's sitting on the shelf somewhere that no community members is going to eventually end up seeing. You know, there must be some evidence of change that can happen, or at least the fellow should be put on a pathway to change. And I think that can happen with this fellowship.
Chef
Kelly?
Kelly, you want to add to that about what do you think one thing others should know about the fellowship?
One thing you should know about the fellowship, don't be afraid, don't be scared. You will be supported. You'll be extremely supported. They will help you, they will teach you, they will be there for you, they will not let you fail. All you have to do is come in with a vision, an ideal, and a want, and they'll help you get there.
Well, we're going to go ahead and transition into the formal